Welcome back, everybody. Well, Local on 2 continues our conversation about mental health in the wake of this tragedy. And while we can't help but think of the kids affected, adults are integral in healing.
And today we are joined by Lina and Dr. Jen of Hills Family Psych. This school tragedy happened right outside your offices. Whew.
Yeah, it was a lot. We heard things. We knew there was a problem quickly. And I think we just all had that common humanity of what do we need to do next.
Yeah, they actually shut down Hillsborough kind of right in front of our building. And so we ended up being a stop for a lot of parents, a lot of first responders that were parking there. So we knew pretty early on that there was something going on that,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in your professional opinion, both of you, what can parents do right now to help their kids even start to process this?
I think we're reminding all families to stop and breathe, take it one day at a time. We are reminding parents that they really need to be active listeners. Let their child take the lead in telling their story. I call it taking up space so that they can say the words, the comments, the feelings, and then let parents follow that lead by going, okay, well, is that all we need to talk about? Do we want to go do something now that is routine driven? I'm talking to a lot of clients about self-soothing, comforting, nurturing, getting back to the routine. We call it the new normal, kind of trying to get back into the patterns that are very grounding and calming, but at the same time also maybe having some flexibility that right now they may need a little bit more emotional discussions, that type of thing. They may also need to go back and do some fun things. I have a lot of clients that are kind of struggling with, is it okay for me to smile? Is it okay for me to laugh? And we're like, yes, that's exactly what you need to do. We're also reminding them that if the kids bring up about safety, is be very here and now and present, that we are going to work really hard to keep you safe, and you are safe with me right now. And if then that leads to further discussions, then we'll let those discussions happen. So it really is a lot of what we've already been hearing is take it moment by moment. You know your child best. You're an expert on your child. So if you are concerned that what they're asking needs further information or further discussion, let that happen. And if not, maybe it is time to go back and do some normal routine.
Now, of course, we don't want to put any more stress on our children. So how do the parents best support themselves in this time?
I think it's a great question. You know, parents, and I think for a lot of parents, they're not thinking about themselves, of course. Like, we're focused on our kids. We want to make sure they're okay. But I'm going to go back to, like, the airplane, analogy. Like, we've got to put the oxygen mask on ourselves before we can show up the best that we can to support our kids. So, some of the same things kind of hold looking in kids. We're human. We're going to have our own reactions to this. I think parents can go back to the basics of their own their own self-care, find what's soothing. Some of it is also just making sure that we're eating, like that we're showering, and not feeling guilty to set aside some time for ourselves. I think especially with younger kids, it's really common for them to be asking a million questions. Some of these questions can actually even feel like insensitive in the time. Like little kids, they kind of approach even traumatic situations like this with the same, beautiful curiosity that they approach anything. And that can be off-putting for parents. It can, be triggering. And so to just make sure that even we're like organizing these talk times, like I like to call them talk times, saying, oh my gosh, that's such a great question. I can't wait to answer that. But we're actually going to talk about that tonight as a family, or we're going to go on a walk and talk through it.
For parents who are feeling guilty about laughing again, and or seeing something that makes them laugh, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I haven't heard that noise in a while. I can't, there's too much tragedy going on. What would you tell an adult feeling that guilt?
Well, you're allowed to have a range of emotions, and I think our bodies and our brain, our physical health and our mental health need breaks, and we need to laugh, and that's also part of the resiliency that we're modeling for our children. That is, you're allowed to be sad, and you can still find that funny, and the dog's still going to do the things that dogs do, that just, have those experiences of that. That's all normal. And I think the more we just normalize everything, then that's good for our children to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. Children, one of the best parts about them is that they are so resilient, and they're going to model a lot of how they cope with this off of us. I think one of the even most challenging pieces right now is that parents are saying like, hey, you're safe, your school is safe, we're going to go to baseball. And then we're also feeling really scared, and so we're being like, but not tonight. Tonight I'm going to keep you home. And so, I would really encourage parents to kind of back up our words with our actions. Like, remind our kids, yes, like, you're safe in these places. We've got a community around you that's going to make you safe. And I'm so sure of that, I'm actually willing to kind of push you out of your comfort zone right now, slowly and gently.
Yeah. Really good.
Well, I hope that you two and your whole staff is doing okay after what you witnessed, and we just thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Make sure to book your appointment. You can visit them online, greenhillspsych.com.